Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pepper Podcast Six-Pack series, which is also, as you can see, we're Zooming, so it's a video presentation as well. I am Caris here at the Pepper Project, coming to you from Pepper headquarters. This is our sixth in the series with our very talented actor Michael Pemberton, who plays Pepper's godfather, Bald Sam. We're very happy to have him on today and to be talking about his work as an actor, what that is like, how to approach a role, what it was like for him with Pepper Ricochet, and more. And I want to start off by saying this six-pack series in particular is to let our audience and our Pepper fan base know more about the team and different aspects of production and creativity and what goes into creating the series and the different chapters that we're doing. And we are on the road to Gießen, on the road to the Festival di Seriale. That is June 3rd through the 8th, coming to you streaming online from Germany. We're really, really grateful to be a part of the digital series. As many of you know, things have shifted quite a bit during the aftermath of the virus. So we're doing everything we can as content creators, and the festivals are as well, to keep things going. Did I blank out there? My screen blanked out. Okay, good. All right. So just a little bit about this is this show is called Number of Silence, and this is how I am acquainted with the great folks at Di Seriale, Jean-Gor, Beate, and their whole team. I met Sandra Bay, who was representing and a team member and a cast member of Number of Silence, which is Tobago Productions in Miami at the Miami Web Fest, which was an amazing experience. We met there, and our shows, the Pepper Project Pilot and Number of Silence, were in competing categories for Best Thriller and Best Director. And fortunately, we each were awarded. So that was great. It started a very a wonderful relationship from there. We also then went to other festivals in that. And then 2017, the Pepper Project Pilot was in Di Seriale then. Happy to say that we took home the Best Actress Award. And then last year I was on the jury panel for Di Seriale. So it's been a really beautiful, wonderful, long history. Love this special, intimate festival. Location is terrific in Gießen. I know the mayor. The mayor knows me. So that's... And we are happy to be streaming digitally this year with them. On to our special guest today, Michael Pemberton. Michael, welcome.
Thank you so much, Caris. It's good to see your face, even as tiny as it is.
I know, exactly. Well, we're going to get a little larger here. I don't think that makes a difference though, but as to what you can see. But anyway, here we are. And Michael, we are going to start off by you telling a little bit about what it is, how you got into the craft of acting, what led you to this, to your profession and your career and your path, and, go from there.
Okay. Well, and this is what, 2 hours long?
No. Well, Katie's keeping time. We have a
I'm up there in years. There was a lot of career in there.
We'll do our best. If we have to sign back on Zoom, we will, but we'll be good. Okay. I know you're joking.
I started late. I think you maybe know this, Caris. I started late in life. I had a number of other jobs. I didn't really have a career before I became an actor. I had a lot of jobs, and I actually. I'm a musician as well. I'm sitting in my studio here in beautiful Saratoga Springs, New York. And, but years ago,
So nice that you're out of the city. Oh my God. Good for you.
We got out a year ago, up here, people were nervous. I always tell people we've been here for over a year, so they don't think I just came up from New York City to escape the deal, because they look at me very suspiciously if you do. Right. I was talking with a friend in New York years ago about the various, they were like, what kind of jobs have you had? And I was listing the various jobs that I've had, including being in the military and the Air Force. And she said, wow, that's a lot. And so I sort of added them up, and there were 7 basically that I could identify, 7, what I call my 7 lives. And I wrote a song about it, There's a line in there that said, I was a salesman for part of that time, and and I still am.
Aren't we all? But
we are. That's what we're doing. There was a line in that song. It goes, "I sold insurance, jewels, and trucks, and vacuum cleaners. God, that's so." I sold so many stupid things like magazines and diamond rings. It just made me angry. So I got tired of foisting other things on people that, and decided to foist myself on them. I found acting because in later in life, I decided to use the GI Bill and go to college. And I didn't do that until I was 26 years old.
Wow.
So I was a 26-year-old freshman at North Dakota State University of Agriculture and Applied Science in Fargo, North Dakota.
Wow.
And I was studying psychology and enjoying myself and finding school kind of easy and kind of wonderful at that point. I wasn't just like fresh out of high school. I had this real enthusiasm for learning. But I was also doing very well and I felt like I wanted some other excitement, something more to do with my time. And I saw a poster up to audition for a play at the theater department. And I thought, I did a couple of theater shows in school. Let me go check that out. So I go
and
in
that's
and
here we go.
Here we go. And I walked in and they saw this, I was balding even back then, and they saw this balding 26-year-old come into the theater and they said, "He can play all the fathers." So I got cast in this period comedy where I had to learn to speak with a British accent and walk with a cane like I had a gout. And it was a period piece, restoration comedy. So there was a lot of behavioral stuff I had to learn. And I just sort of fell in love. And plus they gave me this beautiful young theater student to do my makeup, and she'd do my makeup and flirt with me. And I was like, I like theater.
I like this. I like this job.
And that's the last time that ever happened. But, it was that was the beginning. And I did that show, and the head of the theater department recruited me heavily. And I gave them a full summer with their summer rep, and I played Charlie Brown and You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And I played Big Daddy and Pat in a Hot Tin Roof. And I played, those really contrasting roles, all summer long. And I was just hooked. That was it. I decided this is what I want to do.
I think that's great. That's great. And what a story of how you got into it. And then that's why I said, because once you step in that building, once you step on that stage, forget it. You're done. Game over.
Yeah. For those of us that get hooked, man, that hook goes deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So leading to that, how did you find yourself in New York? Were you an LA actor for a while, or you just come
North Dakota actor? And then I decided to go to grad school, and I looked at various programs and wound up going to one because full ride scholarship called the Hillberry Rep. It's at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, yes.
I was born in Michigan, so it was a chance to go home when my mother was older, suffering from health problems. So it was a chance to go to school for free. And it was a chance to they were doing rotating repertory theater, 7 shows in a 9-month season. 2 nights doing one show, flip it over, 3 nights doing another show, flip it over, 2 more nights doing a different show. So we were doing 3 shows in rep at any given time. And I thought, what better way to really, solidify my stagecraft than to be on stage that much? I just wanted to experience. Yeah. And it was phenomenal. So 3 years in Detroit doing that. And at the end of that, the wonderful New York casting director, Pat McCorkle, came out to Detroit.
Yay! Shout out Pat McCorkle. Yay!
It's all her fault. And Pat gave a terrific class, and then I kept in touch with her, and she saw me do my final sort of thesis show, which I had the lead in this wonderful show by Christopher Hampton called Tales from Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And I played Uden von Horvat, the writer. And she saw me do this show, and she said, "You belong in New York." She said that.
She's awesome. She's so awesome. And that's what you want to hear. And from someone with that, with a legacy like Pat, she's terrific. Shout out to Pat. She's great, and such a great supporter of actors. Yay! Well, what a great story. And you're here. And backtracking, I was looking for someone who could play this role, who had the gravitas of experience and presence on screen, as well as a chemistry that would really click with Pepper and Bald Sam. Because it's
pick me anyway.
Right? No. All this to say, what a lucky find. I'm trying to even think of who. I think our mutual friend Kim Martin Cotton. Your name came up a few times, and I think it was Kim who gave me your name, Christian Parker. Thank you to both of those people, because I was so fortunate to find you, Michael, and that you were available for that special weekend where we shot out upstate New York a bit. And because for everyone to know, it's not easy to get to contract someone for a whole weekend of time on a budget that I was working with. But Michael so generously, enthusiastically jumped in. And I have to say, Michael, you haven't seen the chapter yet, and you will soon. You haven't seen Ricochet yet, but the comments I'm getting about our chemistry are great. Really are, about how we knew we had so much fun, but we just kind of slipped into what
required.
I mean, and you come off so natural on screen, which is what I love. And of course, working with you was just really easy. It was a great, wonderful experience. I know everyone's going to love you as Pepper's godfather. You already, worked your way into people's hearts, certainly into mine. So, if
I survive, I mean, that was an action-packed show. So,
I know. Who knows? We got more. And speaking of, haven't mentioned her yet, but Kate, who was our, fantastic Natasha. Kate.
I do. Kate and I go way back. Funnily and tragically, we've never acted together.
Well,
in your episode in which we don't get to be together, but
not yet. I have something bubbling, and I told her that too. So who knows when we can get around to it? I don't know. Maybe soon, maybe later. But it's in the works.
We're just friends. We met through a mutual acquaintance years ago at a party and just hit it off. And you have those people where you feel like, oh, I think I knew you in a previous life.
Yeah.
And Kate was definitely one of those. And I just am such a fan of her work. She's, like you, she's smart, sexy and compelling.
Sweet.
And,
she's dynamite.
She's dynamite. And so, I'm thrilled that we're doing a project together. I hope I get to see her.
I hope I can get you in the same room, closer than 6 feet apart. But if we have to do the scene 6 feet apart,
we'll just have a nurse on set. We'll
figure it out, right? We'll bring Scott Kosha back, who's our armorer and props expert, and who knows, and Joe Booker, who knows something about first aid and all that. So with this particular role with Ricochet, what did you do? Anything to prepare? What were your thoughts about that?
For me, it all starts with the script, right? I mean, you've got that story. I saw that first wonderful episode, so I had a sense of kind of the world.
Thank you. Yeah.
And in particular, I found, after doing TV now for a number of years, it's like it's understanding the style and tone of the show is kind of critical. But yours is of a genre that I understand and that I'm attracted to anyway, and I've done a fair amount of work in that genre. So, right off the bat, I was able to sort of establish the center. And Sam, for me, when I read this script, just leapt off the page and kind of into my marrow. I have to say there are roles that I've had to work very, very hard to find, the connective tissue between who I am and who that character is. That's what I always look for as an actor. I'm like, first, let me connect with what drives this person. What drives me in this way in my life? And, what are their motivations? What's the backstory that led them to be where they are? And there's a lot of heavy research and pushing and pulling to find that. Not necessarily with Sam for me, because Sam is a version of me that made a different life choice when he was younger. But I think we share a lot in common in terms of worldview and loyalties.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
I do. And that there was what I love about the relationship of Sam and Pepper that you were able to augment and really help bring to the screen is that there's a history there, and there's a history of caring, and of course as her kind of her mentor, one of her mentors, and there's a wisdom. And whether she always is, I think she believes it. Sometimes she might question it. Sometimes she might think she knows better. But we have that really great repartee of cockiness, but then you put me back in my place. You have the same thing.
I think Sam would be disappointed if you didn't question some of his ideas.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the great things about your character is that, she challenges herself and the situation, until she gets clarity and understands it and, and finds a path of action. And I think that Sam was it was clear after reading the script, it's like, okay, Sam was a mentor, Sam helped her learn these skills. And so, I think he's proud of you when you question things.
Right. And what I like too is the way when you have to, it's not at all, it's more like a keeping her in check. It's endearing. It's genuine. It is from the place of being concerned about Pepper, and her well-being. And there's a lot of humor around it, a lot of fun around it because of our history. So for me, that was great. So that's a really good insight that you brought, that, when you're familiar with material, with the genre of certain material, you can access it a little better. When you're not, or when it takes a little bit more work, sometimes it's not as much fun, right?
Well, I love trying to play things that are way outside of my range.
Sure.
Obviously, too.
There's a great freedom in that, too. Just like going balls to the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, just taking the governor off and letting it rip,
Yeah.
And trying to go as far as you can. That's one of the things that was so attractive to me, in the world of theater, is that, again, you're one character one night, the next night you're playing somebody that's, 180 degrees the opposite of who you were the night before.
Right.
And to find truth in that, to make it impactful night after night is the joy. When you're playing something that's really outside your comfort zone and somebody, is moved by it or learns something from it, that those are incredibly rewarding moments, and, it's worth it. And I learn things too, it's like if you play a villain, the standard rule, and this, is that a villain never thinks of themselves as a villain, right?
Right.
They're acting because they believe they're right about something, And so even exploring the minds of characters that we would typically consider villainous is an enlightening process, because in life, to get through life without suffering with the interminable question of why people do things, you have to develop a sense of compassion
right.
for people who do ridiculous things. Like I'm trying to find compassion for people who go in public without masks.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
And I can either be mad about that and think they're idiots, or I can be aware that there's something that's driving them,
right,
making them do this thing that maybe I don't understand, but I can have a little patience with them.
Right. Or both. You can be mad and have the compassion, which is what I find.
That is the truth. That's
all right, you know what? Yeah. So let me split the difference so I don't lose my mind, but at the same time,
Compassion and Anger Man. That's my new album. I'm gonna Compassion and Anger Man.
Yeah. Cool. So on that note, we can get back to some Pepper stuff, but tell us a little bit more about what else you do in your life, in your artistic life.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've been writing songs. Guitar was my first love. I got my first guitar when I was 12 years old, and my mother could barely drag me away to have dinner. You know, I was always in the room noodling around with my guitar and driving the neighbors crazy and that sort of thing. So I just,
It's great.
drove me. I had my first band at the time I was 13, because my best friend Danny, I got a guitar, and Danny got a drum. Not a drum set, a drum. He had a snare drum.
Oh my God.
And we decided we should have a band because he had a drum, I had a guitar. And we're like,
why not?
Bands, you need at least 3 people. So who are we going to get? And we need a bass player, right? So who are we going to get? We don't know any bass players in this tiny town in Michigan. So we well, who do we like? Oh, we like that kid Joel. Let's ask him. And Joel learned to play bass, and Danny got a drum set, and we were hell of a band back there in high school, playing all the local proms and the homecomings. And
did he eventually get a drum? He got a drum set.
He got
expanded.
A drum
okay.
set.
Okay.
Oh yeah. At one point, we even had him up on risers, like in a major rock.
Oh wow.
Bass drum set up and all that kind of stuff. And Joel, the guy we got in to play bass, wound up being a bass player in Nashville.
Oh, awesome! My gosh,
so we all kept playing.
You started something there.
Lives. Yeah, and I've written a lot of music. New York really stirred that up for me. I became a writer in New York as well as an actor, and that was an important thing in my life, to be able to, transform, because I've been playing guitar all those years, but I had tried to write a song when I was younger, and somebody laughed, and run those songs right.
Kind of clips your wings, right? Until you kind of go back at it again and say, I don't care what people think, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, and this is kind of a chocolate peanut butter story in that. So I had guitar, which was separate from writing. I started writing poetry. And
wow.
I kept them separate. And then I had a good friend that I would share the poetry with. She was very literate. And she sat down there one time and she said, "This feels like a song." I was like, well, yeah. So I went home and I put music to it, and boom, that was sort of like that theater gig. It was like, uh-oh. So
here we go.
I've written a lot of music over the years and kind of the, folk rock genre. But most recently, I've written a 23 song suite based on a Russian novel.
Oh, I think you were talking about this. That's right. That's cool.
The novel is The Master and Margarita, where my elevator pitch is: the devil comes to Moscow to play Cupid to a pair of star-crossed lovers.
Isn't that fun?
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
The devil playing Cupid. So, I've written 23 songs, which we're working on developing into a recording at the very least. I've been asked to write a script to it, but, we'll see. We'll see. I might have somebody else write the script.
Yeah, well, hey, we should talk.
Yeah, I know a script writer.
Okay.
So that's the other thing that I do, and I've produced some albums for friends, and a highlight was having one of my songs recorded by a wonderful actor, Sada Ramirez, who is Callie on Grey's Anatomy for a number of years. It's the first kind of bisexual character portrayed on national television. And she's an amazing singer, Broadway star, won a Tony for playing Lady of the Lake in Monty Python's Holy Grail.
And you know what? I knew she did. I didn't know what she won for, but many people don't even know that she is a Broadway actor either. Yeah. It's really, she's incredible. So she's recorded one of your songs.
She's recorded a few of my songs.
Okay.
And one of them we wound up performing together on a TED Talks.
Oh my God.
So there's a song called Roller Coaster, Carousel, on TED Talks with Sada Ramirez, and I'm playing guitar.
I gotta look that up. I gotta look that up, Michael. That's fantastic. Yeah. See, even I'm learning more things than I knew about you and learned about you.
Guys gotta have some secrets.
That's right. Gotta pull something out, right? Out of your pocket. What I want to ask you in terms of what you one of the highlights of your career, which one or two things you're most proud of.
One of my goals as a young actor was to, this is ambitious, be part of a new play, a new American play on Broadway. And so certainly one of my highlights was getting to do that with a play called The Farnsworth Invention, written by Aaron Sorkin and directed by the talented Des McAnuff. And it was just a wonderful story about the invention of television, which we're all fascinated by, and the young man who did that. So that was a real highlight. I think it performed on Broadway a number of times. So that was that was just the best. My name is in that script forever. If anybody, how they had the original cast in the script.
Yes.
And as a student in North Dakota, I read that and go, I want to be one of those guys. So
that's so wonderful. Congratulations on that and on everything else.
And
that's fantastic.
To work with Spielberg was obviously another highlight,
and which was, remind me that?
Yeah, in his film Bridge of Spies with Tom Hanks.
Oh, that's great. That's right. That's right.
Based about Gary Powers, a spy pilot who was downed over Russia back in the 60s. And it was just one scene, but it was incredible to work with that caliber of director. He was fantastic to work with, and a lot of fun and challenging all at the same time. And that incredible team all around us. I mean, so that was. There's another quickie. And then
that's great. He's a dream of mine too. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and then just sustaining a career.
Yes.
I mean, talk about highlights. I've been able to work exclusively, in our business now for over 20 years, and got to live in the most exciting city in the world, New York City. Exciting for the wrong reasons at the moment, but still the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
Here.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Working with Ben Vereen was amazing. For those of you that are familiar with the Broadway Tony superstars, working with Ben Vereen on
quite a talent.
Broadway.
Yeah.
I'm not Rob Rappaport. And then he took three of us from that show. We were all singers, and he took three of us guys from the cast and made us his backup singer, or four of us, and we were Ben Vereen's backup singers for a number of gigs. Like we played Atlantic City.
Wow!
We played the Catskills with Ben Vereen. And I got.
You've made it if you played the Catskills with Ben Vereen, Michael. I mean,
I know. What else could I'm done, right? I've left it up.
You do a lot more. There's a lot more. But that is amazing. That's great. And that's quite a varied career too. I mean, wow, look at all you've been able to do and been, of course, talented to do.
Fortunate person.
Yeah. And more to come once we're certainly out of this, thank you, Katie. Excuse me, 3 minutes here.
We'll be telling the COVID stories for a long time to come.
Oh, I don't know. I'm hoping that there's mixed thoughts about how those are going to go over in terms of
we'll see. Some people will turn them into gold.
Yeah. If we want to watch it, I don't even know. But anyway.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, that's true.
Well, we're going to wrap up here before our Zoom time is up. Michael, thank you so much again for being a part of Pepper Ricochet, Bald Sam, now forever.
Episode.
I know. We can't wait either. Working on how it's going to happen. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to our Pepper Podcast Six-Pack series. And shout out to LVR USA, which was our rental house connection through Matt Matosian. They helped us out so much. Talk about hooking us up for all the equipment for the shoots. PepperRicochet.com. We still have some wine totes for our fans and Pepper family if you want to log on there and see how you can pick one of those up. And again, Seriale, June 3rd through the 8th. Yay! I think I got this last year. What a great bag this is. And you can see their logo here. A wonderful festival we're going to be, I'm hoping to coordinate this properly, having a 3-day Pepper Project pilot watch party on YouTube, along with these videos being loaded, leading into the Seriale Festival. So stay tuned. Everyone, thanks for checking this interview out with our Bald Sam. Yay! What a dream for me to finally have this character come to life after all the years of writing it and developing it. And
well, get ready, folks, because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
There we go. There we go. Michael, love working with you. My gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Caris. The feeling is mutual, my love. Anytime.
All right. Take care. Thanks, everyone.